A few nights ago, while I sat on the balcony contemplating my life, my choices, and the strange, uneven road that brought me here, I became an audience to a pool of orange streetlight bleeding into the silence below. The kind of light that gathers in empty parking lots and makes the asphalt look like a stage waiting for a tragedy no one has written yet. And in its shadows, I witnessed something so private, so violently unscripted, that it felt less like observation and more like excavation, as though I had accidentally brushed dust from an artifact of pure human fracture. There was a sedan, an ordinary, forgettable car, and inside it, a man. He was not crying. That word is too gentle, too clean. He was being dismantled. His body looked like a site of seismic revolt. His shoulders weren't shaking, they were convulsing. Each heave a silent detonation threatening the integrity of his ribs. His hands were welded to the steering wheel, knuckles drained white, gripping as though the vinyl and foam were the only solid things left in a universe that had otherwise dissolved into grief. His forehead rested against the top of the wheel, a posture of defeat so complete it looked like a new form of prayer. A supplication offered to the gods of dashboard plastic and empty coffee cups. I froze. Even my breathing slowed, as though my body instinctively understood that this moment did not belong to me. And in that suspended silence, a lifetime of assumptions quietly shattered. One of my earliest memories as a child is my grandfather telling me, "You're a man, be bold, but simple in a way that doesn't burden the people around you." I carried that message with me for years. And even when I didn't fully understand what he meant, I repeated it to friends like it made me seem more self-aware than I actually was. Over time, though, I began to understand the weight hidden inside those words. Most men hear some version of that lesson growing up. We are taught to become monuments, load-bearing walls, silent geographic features in the landscape of other people's needs. People see the strong jaw, not the clenched muscle beneath it. They see the provider's posture, not the scoliosis of constant carrying. We are taught to become the monument, and nobody ever thinks to look for the fault line until the earth moves. And this man, sitting inside his sealed four-door confessional, was all fault line. The car, that modern male monastery, that soundproof booth of the self, was the only place sacred enough for such an unraveling. Its windows were the veil. The engine off, the world locked out. It was the one room where he was finally permitted to stop being a pillar, where he could become, simply, rubble. And the devastating truth is this: nobody was ever supposed to see this. This was a breakdown engineered for perfect privacy. A performance intended for an audience of none. That was the design. That was the whole terrible point. Men are handed shovels and told to bury their own tremors. They hemorrhage internally, where the blood doesn't stain the shirt, where the wound darkens somewhere deeper and less visible. And then they walk through life carrying invisible tonnage, the ghost of a father's withheld approval, the cold algebra of debt, the slow erosion of dignity inside jobs that trade humanity for numbers, the love they fear they don't deserve, and the fear they know they must never name aloud. They become human pressure cookers, and somehow we mistake their ability to hold steam for proof that nothing inside is burning. We call that strength, never listening for the faint metallic scream of the valve straining at its limit. And if you are a woman listening to this, ask the men in your life how they're doing. And when they say, "I'm fine," listen a little longer. Because how many of those "I'm fine" have been accepted as emotional currency and spent for the comfort of everyone else? How many easy laughs were mistaken for lightness, when really they were just pressure escaping the chamber for a few seconds? How many nights has he laid beside you awake and silent, conducting the invisible orchestra of his worries? About work, about money, about you, about the future, about whether he is enough. while you slept peacefully beside the illusion of his stability? Watching that stranger, I didn't just witness grief. I saw fatherhood differently. I saw quiet heroism differently. I saw the profound courage hidden inside the ordinary act of returning home every day. The uncelebrated valor of waking each morning and putting the armor back on, not for glory, not for applause, but for one simple and devastating promise. I will provide, I will protect, I will persist. And somewhere in him, I saw parts of myself too. I saw every sharp response I swallowed just to preserve peace. I saw the silent galaxy of male worry, planets of fear, comets of doubt, black holes of inadequacy, all navigated alone because most men are handed an invisible map at birth that quietly says, your interior is your own country. Suffer there in silence. I don't know what broke the man in the car. Maybe it was one catastrophic loss, a relationship, a dream, a life he thought he'd have by now. Maybe his football team lost. And as ridiculous as that sounds, some men carry more emotional history in those teams than they do in their own surnames. Maybe it was something smaller, the slow accumulation of tiny erosions, the death by paper cuts exhaustion of pretending to be okay for too long. Or maybe it was simply the unbearable weight of the mask itself, the muscular fatigue of holding a face in place that no longer matches the feeling behind it. But I know this, his solitude was the most crowded thing I had ever seen. He was alone with everything. So this is my notation from the late watch, a reminder to myself and to anyone who loves a man. Check on them, but not only when they look broken. Check on them when they seem strongest. That is often when the load is heaviest. Check on them when they grow quiet. That is usually when the noise inside becomes unbearable. Look past the monument to the masonry beneath it. Ask not only for the story, but for the weather inside the story. Create spaces where I'm not okay is not treated like a collapse of masculinity, but an act of trust. Because sometimes the bravest thing a man will ever do is not fight the dragon, hold the line, or carry the world on his back. Sometimes the bravest thing he will ever do is finally fall apart, privately, completely, in the driver's seat of his car beneath the jurisdiction of a lonely street lamp, believing the moment belongs only to him, God, and the empty night. But he was wrong. I saw him, and in seeing him, I began noticing the invisible fractures in the architecture of every man I know, not as flaws, but as proof of the tremendous, silent pressure they were taught to survive. And maybe that is the tragedy of it all. Some of the bravest things men ever do happen in complete darkness, with nobody there to testify. Tonight, at the very least, we bear witness. So, wherever you are right now, driving, lying awake, or just sitting alone with your thoughts, I'm glad our paths crossed for a little while. Take care of your mind, guard your heart, and don't rush the questions that take a lifetime to answer. Until next time, peace be with you.